mashallah, that'll be sufficient for us. Jazakallah khairan. Without further ado, we'll pass it to Hamza, who's going to start it off, and then I'll continue at the end. Bi-idhnillah ta'ala.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's Hamza Hakim from South London. Basically the poetry that we do is based upon, how we was living from before and how we are in Islam now. And in terms of like our environment, we look at the Muslim youth growing up in a way that, we was living before Islam. You understand? So what it is, the poetry that we do is based upon, warning the youth against jahiliyyah, warning the youth against disbelief, and this hype about the road life, and people like myself, Abdul Kareem, and maybe some of us may be able to relate to it. There's nothing fruitful about the road. You understand? There's nothing fruitful. We're coming from, the raving, the smoking, the drinking, the women or the girls, but, we're upon Islam, and, we're just here to just say, you have to leave that behind, and the environment we live in, we see a lot of youth running into that lifestyle, and for us coming from that lifestyle, we're just saying, you have to leave that alone, because at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, to worship Him at the end of the day, and living other than Islam, it's not pleasing to the Creator at the end of the day, and so this is why we do the poetry in terms of giving the youth, especially, to that, a general nasiha, not to go into the road, or maybe, to take themselves off the road, and that's basically Sunnah Poems. So last year I made a date, my first poem, which I've done last year, it's called On My Mind. It's on YouTube. And it basically explains coming from Jahiliyyah, or pre-Islam, and coming to Islam. I'm inclined to tell you what's on my mind. I tell you straight, before Islam, I used to think about crime. I mean, really, really think about crime. It used to be stuck on my mind, so much so, when I went to bed and woke up, first thing on the agenda was crime. But like I said, that was all before Islam, when I was running around blind. I paid my dues, faced the consequences, and did little time. I had time to take a step back and reevaluate my mind, learning about the one who guided me and took me out from the dirty filth and the grime, and gave me the ability to live life according to He and not mine. My mentality used to be banditry and gallatry, making music and moving trees, having exclusive Nike wear and throwing on a little shine. But I was a knuckle-headed teenager back in those times, and now I acknowledge Islam is the only light that shines. I wish Allah would guide those close to me, still in the dirt making shirk, taking drugs, guzzling and wine, and caught up in the illegal bump and grind. But that's a life full of darkness, more bitter than limes. So what's on my mind? More like who's on my mind? The one with the most lofty names and attributes, revealed 99. The one who sent prophets and messengers throughout time. The one who has Muslims pray to daily 5 times. We recite Surah Al-Fatiha at least 17 times. Plus bow down to a makes a Jew to at least 34 times. The one to whom we make tasbih 33 times. The one to whom we make tahmeed 33 times. The one to whom we make takbir 33 times. The one who drew us from the loins of our father Adam one time and asked us, am I not your Lord? And we bore witness one time. The one who we turn to forgiveness time after time. The one who, if He chooses to forgive us time after time, the only one deserving of worship all the time, from the beginning of time, all throughout time, especially in these times, up until the end of time. The one who's going to establish the day of judgment at an appointed time. Allah is Al-Qawi, the most strong, who put the strength in my spine.
priorities was more the road lifestyle instead of Islam. But making my transition back to Islam, there's a lot of things that I was noticing within the media, like the brother who was saying in the lecture, Murtaza Khan, was saying about the media, what they pump. So a lot of things were coming across to me, so this is a reflection of how I was thinking back then, which is still relevant now. From what I see, this country's media will forever diss Islam. They say it's full of oppressed women and terrorists. They warn you against the Muslims, saying you should be scared of them, especially the veiled up women and bearded men. Well, that's the propaganda. But I advise you to take a proper gander. With your two eyes, you'll realise and see clearly it's a lot of slander. They want to see the downfall of this great religion. Why? Because this society prospers greatly off of sex and naked women. Now let me ask you a question. Is the purpose of life corporate jobs and law degrees? And then on the weekend it's let's get drunk and disorderly, getting a punch up in a club until they call police, bunk up in a dump and fall asleep, then wake up the next morning drenched in your own vomit in some corner street? I didn't think so. So ponder over that the next time you see or hear Islam defamed with insults. You see, crime is on the up. We can see more casualties. Why? Because people are chasing more money, more power, more status, but losing morality. This society is lost in confusion, and the government doesn't know what to do, even though they know Islam is the solution. So they taint that picture with Bin Laden and the Taliban, and how the West is at war with Afghanistan, and how there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and how there's so much conflict in the Middle East. Hold on, I thought democracy was spread so countries can live in peace. You see, Islam means peace, but would you be surprised if an Iraqi armed his piece, aimed at an invading armed soldier, and then blast his arms in pieces? I wouldn't think so. So ponder over that the next time you're at home on his sofa watching Pandora's window. Because what they want you to believe is, any Muslim practicing fully is a bully, homophobic, anti-Semitic or extremist. And they'll try to do this. Why? They want to see Islam extinguished, or at the very least, diluted. I'm going to go now, but before I go, and you form your opinion, and you make a decision, despite all this negative criticism, why is Islam still the world's fastest growing religion? The next one I'm going to do is called The Path We Lead, and this one, to me, is like it's kind of like special to me because it's a reflection of my life when I weren't really practicing. So the poem I read the poem is mainly aimed at myself as well. So I'm not attacking everyone out there, this one's aimed at myself first and foremost, and then everyone else. We've got to follow the Prophet, the Sahaba, and the Tabi'een. And then the Tabi'een, radiyallahu anhum ajma'een. They are our salaf upon the Sirat al-Mustaqim, the best ummah created by Rabbul Alameen. Our pious predecessors, no example in our deen is better. Brothers, sisters, take note as I read this letter. Every soul shall taste death. So if your life ain't right, then the akhirah is pain and great stress. Allah, the most severe in punishment. Whosoever disobeys his command, he doesn't care to punish them. But you're safe from his wrath if you have hope and taqwa, ikhlas in your heart and hope in his rahmah, upright conduct and righteous deeds. Our akhirah depends on the life we lead. But I tell you what's sad still. A lot of Muslims expect to reach Jannah while they're moving jahil. How are you going to make it to Jannah as a gangbanger, a stick-up kid, a drug dealer that loves to bang hammers, quickly give up Islam for a bandana, never seen in the masjid, but when it's beef, you cause the scene in any man's manner. Where does your loyalty lie? When you disobey Allah, does your soul feel like it's been soiled inside? Or are you carefree, joyful with pride? Check yourself, you never know when you're going to die. Because you've got yourself a gun, you feel like you're a soldier of Allah, but you're still linking girls playing music when you're rolling in your car, and the Quran like you don't know that it's haram. Make tawbah, practice the sunnah sincerely, and trust me, it will bring you closer to Allah. And let's prepare for the day when we're put in the dirt and the worms consume our flesh and bones, and fear the hellfire whose fuel is men and stones, whose punishment becomes more and more severe the lower you go into its 7 zones. And what makes things worse is the fire of Jahannam is 70 times hotter than napalm, and have this burning off your skin for eternity, we shaitan. O children of Adam, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create you for postcode beef and rinse in the cannon? Whether you're from Brighton, Stonebridge, New Cross, Leighton, Brockley, Brixton or Clapham. Remember, Yawm al-Qiyamah, being questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And trust me, it's going to happen. This poem was written for myself first and foremost, and then for my brothers and sisters that's slacking. And yeah, certain sisters have got bottled. Not trying to be Islam's best Muslim, They'd rather be like America's Next Top Model. Stepping out the yard with their hair out in the tightest pants. You try to tell them about Fatima or Aisha radiallahu anha, they don't want to hear that. They rather listen to Tyra Banks. Fear Allah, you're making it harder for us brothers to lower our gaze. Especially those who dress extra naked when they go into raves. And certain brothers love going to raves. But haven't you considered Malik al-Maut coming to take your soul in a rave? Next up, you'll be thrown in the grave. Question time with Munkar and Nakir, what you going to say? My brothers and sisters, now going astray. Let's be Muslims, upright, upholding our faith. So that was rated at me, and then alhamdulillah I started practicing the deen, trying to get on my deen a bit more. And what was profound is that when I started practicing my deen, a phenomenon took place. A lot of people started taking their shahada, especially around South London. Lots of people started floating into the deen. And it was happy for me to see, because I was born Muslim, and people who I used to go to school with, I used to chill with on the blocks, used to hang with on the ends, I've seen them walk into the masjid. But there was a slight twist to this, to people coming to the deen or coming for the wrong reasons. Instead of coming to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and practice the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man was coming to Islam with a roll thing. So this poem was aimed at that sort of mentality that was taking place for the old Muslim. This deen is serious, but some take it as a joke thing, whether it be linking girls, going to raves or smoking. Haram money bought your car and clothing. Is this the life a Muslim supposed to indulge in? Hide your sin, please. Why are you boasting? It's like you don't fear Allah and you'd rather be a road king, repping whatever crew you ride for or roll in. Are these the ways us Muslims are supposed to be upholding? Promoting. If you've got beef with him, you ghost him. Promoting. Most of the peas you got is stolen. Promoting the weed you got, and that is potent. Oh Muslim, where's the good of your promotion? Oh Muslim, learn your deen because it's golden. Oh Muslim, left the hype and the commotion. Oh Muslim, fall back from this roting. Oh Muslim, you're a Muslim. You're a Muslim, that means submit to your Creator. Or would you rather submit to the desires of your favour? Would you rather be reading the roles known as a danger? But to Islam, you ain't nothing but a faker. Allah created death to take everybody's soul. Mine, yours, the baddest way of road. And what do we take with us when we go? Our actions, yo. See, I kiss my teeth. I don't want to die in a state of disbelief. Disbelief requires us to ditch the streets. I don't want to lose to shaitan or admit defeat. And so what? Who cares if the streets are watching? Hellfire is a place too hot to cotch in. Chained up, engulfed in flames and boxed in. 70 years to reach the bottom from the top if you're dropped in. So, do you really want to follow your desire?